Yo, what's going on, people? I'm glad y'all took some time out of your day to check me out, man. Y'all here once again with the infamous Tay Lit. And I got special guests here, man. We got Coach Brodie, man, out of South Carolina, man. And today we're gonna discuss like the differences between sex in porn and sex in real life. Because a lot of people have this, imaginary line that just like they keep crossing it, thinking they're the same thing. So all right, well, here you go, Coach Brodie. Take the floor, let them know who you are, and a little bit about yourself.
Hey, what's good, y'all? I'm Coach Brodie. You just make sure y'all go and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I talk a lot about Dom sub dynamics. I talk about blurred culture, and a lot of different things when it comes to dating and relationships, and just typically blurred topics, right? And I'm out South Carolina, 27 years old, and I've been a Dom for a while. So there are some things that are very different between porn and real life, but although there are some things that are very different between porn and real life, it may not always be the things that people think that are different. And there are some things that are different that Dante is going to express, Taylit's going to express, and those are some differences. And I'm going to touch on it from somewhat of a different side, from a BDSM perspective, of how a lot of things that people see within porn and assume aren't real happen in people's real life, if you're behind the curtain of what I call the sexual shadow world.
Okay, that makes sense. See, the thing is that one of the things I think that you got to realize too is that a lot of the porn actually comes from real life scenarios. So a lot of people take things from real life and then put it into their porn. So you know what I mean? Like a lot of things that people doing in real life, they're just taking to the porn and just coming up with ideas. Like me, the crazy thing about me, everyone thinks that I'm this porn star. That I'm just so engaged and engulfed in sexual activities, and I'm not. Like I'm like the most vanilla porn star probably ever. Like I look at it like as going to a job. You know what I mean? When I was working for Rick Nasty, I mean, he would just literally hit me up and I'll pull up, do what I need to do, and go home. Like I'm not a stripper. I'm not into swinger parties. I'm not like doing like all these things that people think I'm doing. I'm not selling dick on no gigolo shit. Like what I'm saying. So like a lot of people got a lot of things misinterpreted with me just go off the fact that I do porn. But I feel like that's one thing I just need to get out there. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people think that I'm just like this person do all this weird stuff, and like I said, a lot of people are in the industry doing weird stuff, but not me. But
And you know what I think is a really dope topic. We can probably just jump straight into this, right?
mm-hmm,
About dick size, right?
mm-hmm.
Because when it comes to porn stars, most porn stars probably don't even like huge dick like that. If you hear most of them and
That's
have
a
a
fact.
conversation with them about what they like, most of them is gonna like something a little bit closer to average. But the truth is this, that women who are highly sexual, who aren't doing it for money, a lot of them do like huge dicks. And we got to keep
Yeah.
it a buck that although a lot of porn stars or sex workers may not like that, that doesn't mean that there aren't women who do.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. See, the thing about that is that the reason why you see such big dicks in porn is because you have to have a certain size to even get booked, due to the fact that a lot of it is due to the fact of the camera angles.
Yeah, you
If
got
you
to
have
get the
a
camera shot.
small penis,
Shot.
hmm?
You got to get the shot.
Exactly. So if you have a small penis, you're gonna like basically cover things up. You're not gonna be able to open up correctly. Like me personally, I don't have the biggest dick in the world, but my dick's big enough like I can fuck a girl, take a step and a half back, and you can see everything. You know what I'm saying? While it's being penetration and all that. So that's why I was successful. My thing is now I'm trying to get in better shape because I see that's something that's slowing down my progress. But a lot of that is just due to the fact that they need someone that's going to actually be able to get the shots, to get the angles, to get the things that they need done. So you know what's crazy? A lot of these girls, like this, like you said, they don't like big dicks, and they only do it for when they're getting paid. You know what I'm saying? And also, they have made. I remember I had a girl tell me that since my dick was bigger, I had to pay more. Shit was crazy.
You know that, hey, that's a big dick tax. Some people do not know about that, right? Because one thing
Exactly.
I say is this: oftentimes a woman who is being transactional about sex, she's not in it for pleasure. So the bigger you are, that stretching, that pain that may come with the pleasure, that's not really something they're in it for. They're in it for what the money that they're gonna get out of it. So they don't like that shit. You know what I mean? But a lot of women who are into like real life being freaks, they do the things because they want to, that you see on porn in real life, because they want to. So they like, listen, you pull up with with a 7, you know what I mean? She might be like,
Mhm.
she like the 9 or the 10 better. And she know where to find them at too. So don't think that just because a porn star may tell you that she doesn't like super big dicks, that means that no women do. Because there's some men who got them, and they'll hear these stories, and sometimes people feel like, since they're talking down on it, that means that uh that nobody wants what they have. That's not true. But it's just the women in that lane, they typically, they don't prefer that.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta realize something too, that a woman's vagina is but so big, so like it's not really going to fit it all in there anyway. But
We got to talk about the cold shaft, right? That's another thing too, right?
what's
Like,
that?
cold shaft
You
is
might
a
be
phrase.
teaching me something.
Yeah. Cold shaft is a phrase I came up with for like when a woman eyes are bigger than her pussy. You get what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
like where she wants, like, let's say she only got 6.5 inches of pussy, right?
Mhm.
And she fucking with a dude who got 8-9 inches. The bottom part of his dick is cold. That's cold shaft. I can't even nut unless I can go balls deep. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I understand. See, I feel you. I feel you the same way. I feel the same way. See, but the thing is too is that a lot of girls, like you said, once they get that bigger size, they either get turned off by it because it hurts them and it splits their shit, or they get turned on by it and that now they can't have nothing but smaller than that. So
You
shit.
know what? That's true. I call that getting broken in, right? And that's a concept I talk about more so in the BDSM space, right? When it comes to like dominant shit, is like there's been women I dealt with who may have had ex-boyfriends who had like the average piece, and they weren't aroused enough to even take the average or slightly above average piece. And then when I fucked with them, they couldn't take it at first, but let's say they weren't even on their period and they experienced some cervical stimulation. And once the pain mixed with the pleasure, they might have bled a little bit. And then after that, size wasn't an issue. And that may sound like a good thing, but there are times where, let's say you work on like a 7.5, her ex had a 6. She couldn't take the 6 because she wasn't aroused enough. She take that 7.5, she get broken in. Now she wants some 9 and some 10, and she can't really be happy without less than that. So you got to also understand that sometimes sexuality can be a Pandora's box.
Yeah, I never looked at it like that.
Yeah, you get treated like a starter dick. You ever been treated like a starter dick?
Apparently, yes, but I didn't know what that was called.
Yeah, I call it a starter dick, right? If a woman never had a big dick before, you her first above average dick, right? And then you turn her out to that, and then now she's like chasing dragons, trying to find the biggest she can. Like that can happen too.
Mm, wow, those are called size queens, right?
Yeah, them size queens, them size queens. I call it chasing dragons.
Okay, same difference, same
It's the
difference.
same thing. I like to have different vernacular to it.
See, but the thing is about the porn industry is that even with me myself, I'm trying to lean towards making more reality type based porn. But I need help coming up with scenarios. That's like my thing. I want it to be more like scenarios that's kind of realistic, like you can believe this maybe can happen.
Now, if you ever need some scenarios, man, just hit me up, bro, and I can share some scenarios because, like, a lot of what BDSM is about is really scene setting, right? Setting a scene, and if you know how to set a scene right, then you got an endless amount of scenarios you can set up.
Okay.
Because scene setting is pretty much just like writing a script for your filming.
Yeah, that's another thing too. You gotta write scripts and write lines, dialogue, all types of shit. Yeah, outfits, get all types of shit.
But one thing I gotta give porn niggas they credit for is y'all niggas is ready to work. You know what I mean? Like you can't do that shit unless you can get hard on command. If you can't get hard on command and stay hard, that shit ain't gonna be a good profession for you to be in.
Exactly. and a lot of dudes can't do that. See, this is the thing about porn, bro. That behind the scenes is not what you think it is, man. And depending on the producer, it could be a different. Like, so I like dealing with producers where it's only them and the female talent. That's it, and whoever's supposed to be in the scene. Because some producers that have their boys just chilling there, people just around, all types of shit, bro. It could be a very uncomfortable scenario with if you're a talent for the wrong producer, you know. So it just depends on what's going on, man. It just depends on what's going on. Hey, what's up, Calvin, man? Thanks for checking us out, man. If you feel free to ask questions, you know what I mean. We anybody that's watching, if you want to ask a question, man, send it to the comment section. Like I was saying, but with me with porn, bro, it's like you have to be able to shoot the way someone else tells you how to shoot. That's the hardest thing to do. You know what I mean? Like not only keeping yourself aroused because it may not even be the girl. The girl may be sexy, bro, but it just may be the scenario. You might see something, and it might fuck your head up for a little second. Right? You know what I mean? Like it's happened to me. You know what I mean? Like so, I'm trying to really get people to understand that this is not a job that's very, very easy that anybody can do. Like you have to really be able to not only, like you said, be able to get aroused when on command, but you have to be able to shoot and perform the scene or perform the sexual positions the way someone else tells you for how long they need you to do it because they may need different angles. You
And I
know.
think a lot of men think that they could do it, but they couldn't do it because once you start getting told all this other stuff and you get distracted, you lose your focus. Performance anxiety sets in, your dick goes soft. And I think a lot of men, they don't understand that.
Yeah. You know. So a lot of things is going on, man, behind the scenes. Like me, like I've taken a lot of like supplements to try to help me out. Like I took the raw honey before, toad tail before. I even did a blue chew before. But it got things that where you can even shoot needles in your dick. It's a lot of things that goes on, bro. That I don't know if I'm ready for. That's why I kind of I'm like never did anything major yet because I'm not like I'm ready to do it, but it's just I gotta get the right people that's really gonna help me get on a brasser set or a Brain Bro set or something. You know what I'm saying?
On
Because a
some
lot
real
of
stuff,
people
though,
just blow smoke.
on some real stuff, I've taken a honey pack. I like the honey packs.
Yeah,
I like,
yeah, right.
yeah, I'll take the man. Them shits go hard because it's not like I got no problems with my dick, but it's just I got to be realistic with myself as a man. I don't have any erectile dysfunction issues, but like, let's say you switching positions. Let's say you got to take. Let's say she tap out for a
No,
second.
I ain't gonna front. The reason why I like the honey, because I take the honey with multiple things. Like I might take the honey, I might take a ginseng. Like let's say, for instance, I'm shooting the scene later on that night. The morning I wake up, I'll take a ginseng shot. Then a couple hours later, I'll take a shot at tote. And then like a half hour or an hour before the scene, I'll pop a honey. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really ready to fuck. You know what I'm saying? So like my thing is about is maintaining that erection, like on demand. Because sometimes like with me, I like to get my dick a little bit hard before I shoot, just so it's easier on set. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes just letting the girl get you hard, like being completely soft for letting her do all the work sometimes works. You know what I mean? Just it depends on the scenario, depends on the woman, depends on just what's going on.
Yeah,
Like once you figure out what's better for you, you're gonna move the way you think you need to do. All right, hold up. Let's see what he said. Tay, what do you and your guests think is the biggest challenge facing the industry right now and in the future? Honestly, the biggest challenge I see is maintaining longevity. Like a lot of people in this industry, like a lot of people with OnlyFans or a lot of people with different things, they'll probably get what I mean, a couple months to a couple, maybe a year to of a certain cash flow, but a lot of people drop off because a lot of people just keep doing the same shit or they don't, you know what I mean? Like me, I've been maintaining the same type of flow, but it took me a couple years to get it. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Like I said, I think it's longevity because I feel like sometimes OnlyFans is gonna dissolve, and then what are they gonna do then? Or, you know what I mean? So yeah,
I agree with that on the longevity because it's similar to the music industry, right? You only have typically
yeah,
years to do your thing, except when it comes to porn, not only do you have falling off, but you also have stigma that goes along with it, where it can make it difficult to get other jobs. So it's one of those things where, and this is something people don't want to talk about. And I'm gonna say some real shit. A lot of porn, it's real sex, but a lot of times it's not real. Like a lot of people don't know that I've heard that a good bit of men who do gay porn aren't even gay. They just burnt out all of their opportunities doing straight porn. They couldn't find another job, and they find out they might get paid 3 times more money to do gay porn.
And
So they
you know what? You're right. There is a lot of it's a lot of your favorite male talents are gay, bro. That's why I don't really like doing gangbangs and DPs and all that shit. Like a lot of people see me do boy girl scenes, but it was usually with D Ruff because I know me and D Ruff is cool. That's my dude, and I know for a fact he ain't on no gay shit. So you feel me?
no, I'm saying this right here that there's dudes who do gay porn who ain't even gay. That shit blew my mind.
Nah, bro, you gotta be gay to do gay porn, bro. There's no way that you're gonna have sex with a man on camera and be straight. It's impossible, bro.
I'm telling you, man, it's like
No,
listen.
no, no. Listen, bro. Listen to me, bro. I'm a straight man. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a complete difference between gay porn and straight porn. Like gay porn is really over there. Like, you have to be ready. Like, all that gay for pay shit don't make sense to me, man. That just means that you gay, bro. On the low, you might like pussy, but you enjoy having sex with men. Me, I don't. I'm not ever having sex with a man or a transgender.
Oh,
It's not
I ain't
me.
saying you got
That
to
I'm
do
just
it.
trying to explain to you. And then a lot of these dudes, they'll say, "Oh, I'll do it for money, but I'm not gay." No, bro, you're gay because you will have sex with a man in general. To me, or you know what I'm saying?
I think a lot of, I'm gonna be honest with you. Like to me, I disagree with that because although I wouldn't do it, some people will do a lot of shit for money. And I done heard stories. Like I done watch some interviews and stuff about dudes who done got into gay porn and they not even gay. They had to take shots in their dick and all type of shit just to perform. And they hate that shit. They hate themselves for it. And it's not everybody, but I think it's more people than people like to admit. And I think, some people just got a certain level of character where they say, listen, I'm a heterosexual man. I ain't gonna participate in that shit. But I think there's a lot of women who ain't even heterosexual women. They're not even straight women. They're not even really into men like that. But because they're not into men like that, it makes it easier for them to be transactional about the sex that comes with being in straight porn. And I think it's the same thing for some men too. Like a lot of prostitutes don't even really like men. Like a lot of prostitutes are really lesbian, but because they don't like men, it makes it easier for them to be transactional about it.
Mm. See, but women is different, bro. Like, I don't know, bro. Like, I just personally feel like if you gay, I mean, if you have sex with the same sex, you gay. You know what I mean? Like, if you a dude, you have sex with a dude, you gay, bro. No matter how many bad chicks you fuck after that, you had sex with a man, you're gay, bro. It's
I
just
feel like money is a bigger
I'm
motive.
older though. I'm older though. I'm almost 40, so my mindset is different. Like, I'm from a different era. I understand that now. Like, you're from a younger era. You guys are more lenient. Like, my thing when I was growing up, it wasn't no 27 genders and all this extra shit. It was you gay or you straight, you a boy or you a girl. That was it.
Yeah, I look at that shit like a frog in a pot, man. You know about the frog in the pot analogy?
No, explain that.
So if you throw a frog into a pot of boiling water, they'll jump out. But if
Mm-hmm.
you put a frog into a pot of water and you gradually turn up the heat, the frog will stay in the pot until they boil and die.
Mm.
So some people find themselves in a situation where they're between a rock and a hard place, and think the heat is gradually being turned up on them. Right, like let's say somebody gets into a little bit of porn. It's like okay, cool, but they got another job. Then eventually they get rid of their job, or their job fires them when HR finds out that they're doing porn. Right, and then now you do scenes for a couple of years as a man, you're gonna get paid way less than the woman is typically for a
Yeah,
scene.
that's a fact.
And then after a while, this calls stop coming in as much as they used to after you've been in for a while, like you was talking about longevity. And after a
Mm-hmm.
while, you find out that if you do gay porn, you can get paid 5 times as much money to do gay porn as you did to do straight porn, and you feel like you can't get a regular job. That may not be true, but you feel like you can't get a regular job. The pot get turned up on you. You done already did gang bangs. You done already did male female threesome scenes, and then it's like, well, all I got to do is just like do this that right here, and it might start off with you just get some head from a dude for a scene, gay for pay, and that's like the title of the video, maybe gay for pay or some shit like that, right? And then next thing you know, it's just like the heat starts getting turned up on you to the point where it's like, fuck it, man. They trying to throw a bag my way. I got bills, and I feel like men find themselves in that position when they're not even into men.
Listen, bro. First and foremost, as a man, you're not going to get yourself to that position. You're not even. That's not even going to be a position. You understand what I'm saying? Like I feel like I'm a straight man in my real life.
Me
Like
too.
in porn, I do straight porn. I'm not gonna do gay porn for no reason. There's no way I'm gonna do a gay porn. I'm not doing that shit, bro. You
I,
understand what I'm saying? Like that goes against my morals and my character.
I feel like people.
And you're right. There are men that do that. And there
I
are men in this industry that
feel,
make no understand that they make way more money doing gay porn, and that's a fact. They make way more, especially if you letting dudes get get you in the what. So if you on that type of time, like your brother be crazy, but at the same time, you can't walk around saying you a straight male and they got video of you with a dick in your mouth.
I feel like somebody who would say that, I'm inclined to believe them. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna just be honest with you. Like for me personally, somebody who would say that and would do that, I'm inclined to believe them because there's no other reason. Like what do you gain by saying that you're a straight man when you do gay porn? I'm like that's just how I look at it. Right now, is this something I would do? No. And is it something you would do? No. But that's because you wouldn't allow yourself to get to that place of desperation. I feel like when you get to that place of desperation, when you see it as just a job and you just doing your work, then after a while you're like, well, fuck it. I mean, I need to pay these bills. And
No,
a
I
lot
understand that aspect. Listen, I'm not saying I don't understand that aspect of having your back against the wall, but as a man, if you say that you're a straight man and you're not homosexual, you will not participate in homosexual acts for money. It's going to be impossible to pay. You know what I mean? Like me, I'm not doing nothing gay, bro. Like even the crazy thing with me is that I got people try to say I'm gay because I let women eat my ass on camera.
I don't think that's gay, but that's
Bro, it's not gay. I'm having sex with a woman. It's women doing this.
I don't think there's nothing you can do with a woman that makes you gay. I'm gonna be
Okay,
that.
I see you thinking like me. It's the same thing.
Yeah, but I feel like for some people, not for everybody, not for you, not for me, but for some people, when those lines get blurred a little bit, they can easily get manipulated into that stance. And I'm not saying I agree with it, but I'm just saying I can see how somebody can get to that point when they're not even into that for the bag. Like people will do some crazy shit for the bag. Like people will make music that sells out their whole community and sells violence and all type of harmful stuff to their community for the bag. So do I think somebody is above taking some dick for the bag? You know what I mean? When they're not even into dick, I don't think people are above that.
Yeah, I understand that, bro. But like I said, bro, I'm from a different era, from a different moral class.
Yeah, that's a different era, man.
You know what I'm saying? Like I don't like. I'm not gonna do that, bro. And if you do, if you do that, that's your choice. I'm just saying that, but you're gonna have to live with the fact that, like, I could, if I was a person in that situation, I couldn't live with myself knowing that I'm gonna be out here saying I'm a straight man, but there's a video of me sucking a dick. Like that's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say this right here too, man. I think we do need to discuss some of the scenarios that pop up within porn, right? And we need to talk about some of those scenarios because some of those are real, but some of those are fake. You know what I mean? And I think that
Okay, yeah, that's elaborate. Go ahead, set it off.
like let's say people see things like let's say it's like the stepmom shit. Some people
Mm-hmm.
really out here fucking their stepmom. I ain't saying I would do something like that. I wouldn't do nothing like that. But there's
Mm-hmm.
people who really out here doing that.
Yeah, I
There's
know that's a fact.
there's people who are really into exhibitionism. I'm into exhibitionism, so that's something I really do. When I see exhibitionist videos on online on like Pornhub or something like that, I'm not looking at that saying, "Oh, this is fake. This is not real." I'm like, "No, I really do this shit. I really may go out somewhere in public and get my dick sucked." But that's from a dom perspective of saying like when you're a dom, you do scene setting. When you do scene setting, especially if the woman has a degradation or humiliation kink, when you're into that, then there's certain things that you will experience that appear to the vanilla or the layman person as if it's something that only occurs within porn when it's not. And I feel like there's a lot of men who get manipulated by women who tell them that porn isn't real. Like, let's say it's the topic of squirting, right? And they'll say
Mm-hmm.
squirting in porn isn't real. No, I've fucked women who squirted in real life. You know what I mean? And
Bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. I've made women squirt on set. I think that shit is pee. I don't care what nobody says. It's some sort of piss in my situation. You know what I mean? I don't just see how a clear liquid is just gonna shoot out of a woman because she's aroused, bro. Like, come on, bro. It's
so
some
I'm
type of urine.
so for me, I'm primarily a sex coach, right? So I'll say this, that there has been studies done to do scientific studies over the contents of what squirt consists of, right? So
Mm-hmm.
there's female ejaculatory fluid that comes from the Skene's ducts. There's urine that comes from the bladder, and then there's diluted urine mixed with ejaculatory fluid that comes from the Skene ducts that creates squirt. So when scientific studies were done on squirt, squirt is a mix of diluted urine, right? Diluted urine. That's the reason why it's clear, and ejaculatory fluid from the Skene's ducts, right? From the Skene's gland, which is where the G spot is. So squirt isn't pee. Like there might be some diluted urine in it, but that's not what it is, you know. And I think it's one of those things where I think a lot of women who are insecure about the fact that they've never squirted will try to shame other women by saying that it's pee. And
All right, this is what I'm gonna say to you, bro. I made a lot of girls squirt. A lot of it is honestly is like it's like you gotta hit the G spot certain in a certain way to the point where they can't control themselves from squirting. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And when they can't control it, it's not only urine that's coming out. Part of that is female ejaculatory fluid, which comes from the Skene's duct. The Skene's ducts, because I think a lot of women get socially programmed by these feminist narratives that surround sexuality, that try to push the narrative that all orgasms are clitoral orgasms. And when they push that narrative, they try to act as if a woman squirts, it's just pee, or that it's not actually an orgasm. And a squirting isn't always an orgasm, right? But the thing to understand is that when it comes to squirting itself, part of it does come from the diluted urine, but part of it is fluid that comes from the Skene's gland. The Skene's gland is where the G spot is, right? The Grafenberg spot. And the
Mm-hmm.
Skene's gland is where the female ejaculatory fluid is. You know what? I'm gonna say this right here, and this may not be super relevant, but it is relevant, right? I dealt with a woman before who had an infected, not from STIs, but she had an infected Skene's gland to where she would get swollen if she got super aroused and didn't have an orgasm because she had never squirted. You get what I'm saying?
Mm.
And there's some women where if they don't have a release of that female ejaculatory fluid, then they're going to go experience blue lips, just like dudes talk about blue balls. Some women experience blue lips if they get super aroused and don't have a release of an orgasm, especially a squirting orgasm. Then they will
Mm-hmm.
experience a lot of discomfort because their Skene's gland was at the point where it was right near having an orgasm, but it didn't have it.
Wow. See, you educate me the shit I didn't know. That's good to know.
Yeah, because people talk about the G spot and they say it's just part of the clit, but it's the Skene's gland and Skene's ducts. Right next to and on both sides of the urethra of a woman are the Skene's ducts. There's two holes right next to a woman's urethra on both sides, right on the left side and on the right side, and that's where female ejaculatory fluid comes from.
Oh, okay. See, but the thing is that I don't know if you remember this, but when squirting became a thing when it first started, it was only a few of women that can do it. It was maybe Jada Fire for the black girls, Sapphira. It was only like a handful of girls that can do it, bro. Then all of a sudden, a couple years later, every girl in the world can do it now. Like, come on, bro. Like, I still don't believe it. I think a majority of it is just diluted urine because that's what it is. It smells like pee.
I think that's one of the differences, right? I look at like porn as people trying to replicate what can happen in real life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so squirting is something that can happen in real life, but I'm not saying that women who squirt in porn aren't women who are peeing. There are women who pee and call it squirt, but that's not always the case when we're talking about real life sex. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But in porn, if a woman knows she gonna get paid for squirting, then when she feels like, it's about time, she gonna go ahead and release her bladder. And I think that's a little bit of a different thing than just squirting.
Mm. Okay. But that's what I'm trying to explain. Like, bro, I've made girls squirt. Like, off camera, on camera, and my personal life before porn. Like, that's nothing to me. Like, sex is not really nothing to me. Like, I've been doing this shit for years. So I personally like even like in my personal life, like even with a girl, like I need more than just the average man to even get me aroused because like I've had so much sex, it's like I'm starting to get numb to the situation like a little bit, like if that makes sense.
That makes sense. And
But
somebody asked another question. Can you put you? Oh, you already put that on the screen, did you? One more
yeah, that's what
question.
I'm saying. You can answer the question. I'm sorry, I meant to say that like you just had me a little into the last subject. But okay, one more question, Tay. Why is there so much jealousy in the industry, especially with some top black performers? Great interview. Thank you, Calvin. Honestly, bro, I don't know why there's so much jealousy, man. I don't. This industry is weird, man. It's kind of like high school all over again, and it kind of sucks. But at the same time, I'm just learning that I just need to keep myself in my own little realm, my own little wave, and just stay over there, bro. Like what I mean, it's cool to be over here, just handling your own business, booking your own girls, talking to your own female talent, having your own cameraman, editing your own shit. You know what I'm saying? It's cool. That's why I'm about to just really focus on just doing me and being over here. So the jealousy doesn't even matter to me anymore. You know what I mean? I'm not jealous of anybody. It's a situation where I had a person that I helped, literally helped him when he first started, and now he hates my fucking guts and walking around telling people that I'm the reason that he ain't shit. You know what I mean? And it's crazy because I was the person that put him in situations before I could even make the situation happen. He just fumbled the ball, and a lot of these dudes don't realize that too in this industry is that if you fumble the ball, it's over for you. You know what I
What
mean? The wrong person say that you can't perform, man. Your career is done.
now? How can you explain the different ways somebody fumbles the bag and fumble the ball when it comes to being in the sex industry?
First and foremost, you fumble the ball if you just can't get hard at all. Like if you know what I mean, like because the producer still has to pay the female for being there. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people don't realize there's money being put on the line, so you got to make sure you handle your business. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's the thing too. It's like performance anxiety can hit men, and men don't recognize it because a lot of men have never had an experience having sex with a woman who didn't genuinely like them. So they don't recognize what part a woman likes them has to play in them actually having an ability to get aroused and to get or maintain an orgasm, an erection. So when they deal with a woman who is there for work, they don't recognize, okay, cool, you still got to get hard, nigga. If you can't get yourself hard, you're going to be in a tough spot.
Mm-hmm. You can be in a very tough spot. Now you got a situation where you done lost money for people, and now they don't want to fuck with you.
and that can be a lot of pressure. Like just knowing that can be pressure on a man that makes him unable to get an erection or to keep a erection. Because
Yeah,
society, a lot of men don't have a frame of reference of performing under pressure.
exactly.
Because there's a lot of men who think they can be porn stars, but they really can't.
No.
Like to me, that's not really my goal because I do music and I don't want to mix those things up. But I'm a dom, so to me, my lifestyle at times can look a lot like how a lot of porn scenarios that people say aren't real can look. But also, I'm not gonna play myself and try to be on some corporate, porn star shit because man, this shit may not work out the best. I understand that. Like if I'm making videos,
Yeah, you're right. See, the thing with me is like I kind of wish I thought like you when I first started. When I first started, I just did it for shits and giggles. You understand what I'm saying? And then once I started seeing like, oh shit, I can actually make a little bit of money in it, I just kept doing it. And now look at where I'm at now. Now I'm more like trying to focus on doing my own thing. Like I just said, I want to separate myself and just focus on my own thing and doing my own lane and making my own streams of income and booking the talent I want to book. You know what I'm saying? So
I
that's
think
what that's the direction I'm going into.
I think the best thing to do with that, I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I think the best thing to do with that is to tap into the fetish lane, right? Like tap into the kink in the fetish lane, then you'll have people who are more so cult followers rather than casual followers. You know what I mean? Because
Mhm.
like let's say you tap into the foot fetish lane. I'm gonna do with a foot fetish. Foot fetish content goes the fuck off. And that's some shit you can just post on Twitter, shit be straight, bunch of people will fuck with it.
I
Cool.
know that's why I put foot jobs into my scenes.
Right? But I think another thing is this right here too. If you're doing like amateur porn, and amateur doesn't mean that is any less than hardcore because I don't watch hardcore porn. I only watch amateur porn, right? And,
Mhm.
like I think a big part about it is this right here. This is something that I stand on, but I'm not in the industry, so I can't speak for other people.
Mhm.
But if a dude got a jack off at the end of his scene, I ain't fucking with the scene.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Like I like
But you
oral.
gotta realize sometimes that happens, man. It's hard to get that nut out, bro. So I've been in that situation where I was fucking the girl in mad positions, extra, going extra hard, and still not nothing. So I had to pull out and jerk off just to get this nut out.
in,
So
in real life, in real life, if I'm in a performance mode, chances are I'm not gonna come from sex. That's just a real shit. If I'm in a performance mindset and like let's say I'm having sex with one of my subs, right? If I'm having sex with one of my subs, if it takes her too long to get her first orgasm, I'm not gonna have an orgasm from sex. I have a limited amount of time when I first start having sex with a woman, when we're engaging in a session, before I get to the point where I can have an orgasm. And if I pass up on the opportunity to get my orgasm too many times, then I'm not gonna orgasm from the pussy. She gonna have to suck the dick for me to get my nut off. That's just how it works. You know what I mean? That's real life, and I'm honest with myself about that.
yeah, I understand that too, bro.
Because you get
Like
an
I
autopilot,
understand that.
you get an autopilot mode. Once you get an autopilot, you ain't about to nut from no pussy. You done already acclimated and set your mind and your body up to not come from the pussy so that you could perform. But once you get into that mindset, you're not about to nut off no pussy unless you're trying super hard.
Hmm. That's a fact. That's a fact, man. That's a fact. See, the thing about it, bro, that I'm starting to really realize about this industry, man, and just in general, is like you gotta find your lane, find your fan base, and entertain them.
What would you say your main bases are, your main demographics? Like what type of content you think is like really your main lane for making content?
First and foremost, it's about the girl that I shoot with. It has like it's not really about her size. It's more about what she's willing to do on camera, like and how she looks and how she's able to do it. Like you know what I mean. For instance, like if I can get a skinny like I put it like this. I got two girls, right? I got a skinny white chick and I got a stripper black chick, right?
Yeah.
I'll book the skinny white chick if she does anal and foot jobs before I book the black model chick because she only does boy girl. You understand what I'm saying?
She only does vaginal
Yeah,
penetration.
that's it. That's all she just does. Regular boy girl, but the skinny white girl that's cute does anal and all types of shit.
And I think this is one topic to talk about that I think would be important for this particular concept and for this particular conversation is that there are kinks and fetishes that people can have that can make things that people do for porn scenes things that correlate to real life, but just because somebody's doing that scene doesn't mean that they have that kink or fetish, right? It's just like, let's say, I think that in order to truly perform you need to have a certain level of an exhibition kink, you know what I mean, exhibitionist. If you're not an exhibitionist, then you're gonna get turned off and not be able to maintain your arousal if other people are watching you. You get what I'm saying? And it's one of those things. It's like it's different things that come along with it.
Mm-hmm. We got another question. Tay, have you ever hear of a female or male talent getting 5 grand a scene to do company and do companies pay that? All right. See the thing about 5 grand a scene, I don't know. I personally don't know anybody, but a lot of girls get different type of deals depending on what they're willing to do, bro. So like if a girl's willing to do a fucking like a scene with like facial abuse and they're puking on her and all types of crazy shit, she might get a couple bands, bro. That's possible. But at the same time, a lot of females, they get booked by depend. Like I said, it depends on what she's willing to do, bro. Men, it depends on too, because that's like that might be the type of money you'll make if you're doing like gay porn, but I don't know about straight porn.
Yeah, that's more so gay porn money. That's not straight porn money
Yeah,
for straight.
as a
That's not
male talent, you probably get the most you probably get paid
a
for a scene
band.
is probably 1,200.
Yeah, you might get like
You
a band.
might get that. That's possible, but
You got to
that's
be
for like
working
a
constantly.
top mainstream company.
Yeah, you gonna have to you with like Brazzers or some shit, and you getting like top bill because a lot of people want to see you. But for a man, typically, like you might get paid a couple hundred. You know what I mean? Like starting off, but you get big, you might get paid a band. But 5 bands, that's gay porn money.
Hmm.
And I'll say this right here too, like what you said about there, like the puking and facial abuse. It's like in my real life, I'm a throat trainer. Like as a dom, I do throat training. So a woman throwing up is not something that is like uncommon for my lifestyle. But that's
Hmm.
because I'm dealing with women who are receptive to that, right? So it's one of those things where you might see it in porn and a woman may be willing to do it because she's getting paid more money, but that doesn't mean she's really into that. That may not really turn her on. She's going to do it for the money that she's getting, but it doesn't mean that that's really her thing. And I've dealt with women in real life who, when they experience that, it turns them on even more. So it's like we got to understand that part of the difference is that somebody who's doing something for money is not always going to be a person who's doing that because they enjoy that. They're trying to get paid, so they have to not be into or give the impression that they're not into something as much as they could be, because if they're super into it already, somebody may not be trying to pay them the money that would warrant doing something that goes outside the norm.
Hmm. Yeah, another thing too is that a lot of people may get multiple scenes for that amount, like a girl, like a 5,000, a girl can get a couple scenes, like a good like 8 to 10 scenes, 12 scenes for $5,000. You know what I mean? That might be a deal that somebody will throw at her. And she hop on it, then she hop on it.
Yeah, and I think we do need to understand that, because one thing I definitely like to emphasize when I'm talking about this thing. Hold on, let me post this. I'm about to post this on my community page. I thought I had to wait until I was monetized to get a community page, but they gave me a community page when I was about maybe 490 something like that subscribers, and they let me get a community page. That's what I've been waiting on. So I'm about to say going live. I'm about to drop this on my community page and share this to some of my groups on Facebook. But I think we do have to understand that part of the difference is that when you're being transactional, you have to lessen your desire for what it is that someone's offering or asking you to do in order to leverage that for more resources. If you're doing something because you want it, then you're not getting paid anything, but you're going to get a lot more pleasure and enjoyment out of it. And I'm gonna ask you a question. How many women have you seen who are in the industry legitimately because they just were really just women who really just love sex and they say, okay, well, if I love it, let me find a way to get some money out of it. And how many, like, what would be the percentage between that and women who are just in a position where they said, okay, I just need to make some money?
Shit. Honestly, it's more like 70-30. More girls just I need some money. I'm fucked up. That's the main reason why girls do porn. Some of them are in it because they're prostitutes already, so they might as well make some porn money too. You know what I'm saying? So that's a lot of them too. So
And what is the main difference between like for you between doing a scene with the woman who's just really like that? Because I don't think most women in porn are really like that. I think they're kind of in a state of desperation. Because I've met women who would do the stuff that you see on porn. They'll do it for free, or and this is where it gets even more interesting. I done dealt with women personally who will pay to get slutted out in the way that you see on porn. They'll
yeah,
spend
I
to
know.
get out in that way. But it's different between the mindset between a woman who's naturally really freaky and a woman who's doing it because she needs to make a living.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much, man. See, the difference is that the person that's doing it because they love it is gonna be a different stimulation. That's about it. Like, you know what I mean? Some of these girls, shit, you can tell they do anal simply because they need the money. They don't like the shit.
Like
But
women in real life who do anal, some women they have orgasms from anal. Like a woman who has anal orgasms, you ain't got to pay her to do no do anal. She'll fucking pay you. You know what I mean? But a woman who's in the industry, that's the one who says, no, you got to pay me 3 times, 4 times as much money for me to do an anal scene. You know what I mean? She has to think about the pain she might endure, especially with a dude who's much larger than average. And
exactly,
yeah,
exactly. That's another thing they be thinking about. Your dick's too big. They be like, oh no, your dick is well. Yeah, that can simply be an issue. A real issue.
yeah, because one thing I do want to say is that I do think that there are some guys who watch porn and they put a high value on being extremely large because we got to think, although it may be 1 or 2 or 3% of the population, maybe only 3% of the population is above 8 inches. You know what I mean? 8 inches and higher, really only 3% of the male population. But you got to think, with 8 billion people in the world now, 3% of people is still a lot of people. And I do think that people like men who are extremely large in the dick compartment, they get around a lot more than men who are average because of the sexual confidence that comes with being larger. So you may see, like some dudes, they'll look at the statistics of dick size and say that, well, only 3% of the population is like this. No, that 3% then fuck probably about 20, 30% of the women that you came across.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
you may think that, because hey, listen, for me personally, I'm on the larger side, right? I done been with women before where in the grand scheme of the sizes of the men they've been with, I was smack dab in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Like if we were looking at statistics, I would be in the upper percent of the sizes of the men that you would expect a woman to be with.
Where are you
But
getting these percentages from?
they have different studies that they've done on it about dick size, right? And I should send you some of the links about dick size. So like the average is like 5.2 inches, right? That's Mr. like scientific, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's based off of like 1,500 or I think 1,500 or 15,000 men that were measured, and then you have like different places where they do it. So there's websites where you can go and place where you're
Let me ask you something. How much of the population is over 7 inches?
uh that might be about 10%, 15%.
Damn, so I'm above 15%. I'm all right then.
Yeah, you all right. But it's just like I'll say this right here, and this is not scientific at all, but I think that women who have a high level of sexual energy, they scare off men who don't think that they're packing enough. So they're going to come across men who are larger more often than women who don't have that level of sexual energy. So, a woman with high sexual energy, it may be no thing for her to come across a dude with 7 inches, even though that's only 15% of the population.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be nothing for her to come across a dude with 7 inches, right? She come across that easy, and then she'll find a dude who's 8 or 9. She might, like I said, I'm in, upper. I'm not huge, but I'm definitely above average, easily above average, right? And I've come across women before where I was like in the middle of like probably around average of their experiences.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that's one of the differences between like a woman who's really high in her sexual energy and not doing it for money versus a woman who is doing it for money. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if there's probably some women out there who the way that their energy comes off attracts so much big dick to them. It's like, damn, when am I going to find a dude closer to average? Because I don't like this shit. I'm sure there's women out there like that. It's like, damn, these dudes' dicks are too big. I don't like it.
Mm. Yeah, probably. But like I said, if you want to do porn, girl, you're gonna have to fuck with dudes with big dicks. That's part of the job.
Yeah, it's part of the job, and they charge like they're gonna charge you more. You're gonna have a big dick tax. Like,
Yep.
no, you over 8 inches? No, you got to pay some extra money because no, that's not gonna work.
Yeah,
And yeah,
I know.
you didn't experience before,
Yep.
and you ain't even gotta have no monster shit. You ain't gotta be
Exactly.
you
I
ain't
don't
gotta
have
be
no
Rico.
monster shit.
You ain't even gotta be Rico. It's just you ain't gotta have no monster shit. It's just no, you too big. This is a big dick tax. They gonna charge you.
Now we got another one. Hey, Tay, will there ever be companies like West Coast Productions, Evasive Angles, Black Ice, and they had some hot ebony and Spanish girls? Shit, nigga, I'm trying to be that. I'm really working on a new company and working on a new like product my damn self, man. Trust me, bro. You gotta realize something too, man. The black market declined, man. I don't know. Like I don't know how to explain it, but it's just a lot of companies just left. It's just over.
I
Like
think,
West
man.
Coast Productions, I think they've been over. I don't know what's going on.
I'm gonna say this right here, right now. Something that's popping right now is the throat pie game. You know what I mean? Like if you is the foot jobs and the throat pie game. That shit's going off right now. So if you got some girls who already throat trained or they just don't have a gag reflex, getting into the throat pie game and the foot jobs, man, that'll get some views in. I know you said you started incorporating the foot job shit in there because the thing to understand is this: you know what the number one fetish is? Like 1 in 5 men have a foot fetish. So and oftentimes most men who have a foot fetish is submissive. I got one, but I'm a dominant, so I'm kind of more of a rarity in that, you know what I mean? But those men are willing to spend some money. I see it. I go on Twitter and I keep up with some of the sex workers on Twitter, and men are spending some money on some foot fetish content. I'm keeping it a buck with you. And then you can post foot fetish content on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube. You can post foot fetish content anywhere.
Mm.
So it's just one of those things where it's just like finding the right demographics. I think the fetish lane is really where to go right now. I don't think going for traditional just PIV, it is the way to go right now, unless it's like some squirting content. Squirting content that'll go off. People will pay for some squirting content. People will pay for some foot fetish content. People pay for some deep throat content. You ever watch Morgue Pie?
What happened?
You ever watch Morgue Pie?
No.
Morgue Pie going off right now. She getting that money. What
Who the fuck you talking about, bro?
man, I don't keep up too much with the hardcore shit, but I keep up with a lot of the bigger amateurs in the scene. And Morg Pie, she's a pretty big amateur in the scene. She be doing a lot of throat pie videos. Like she'll get in the Amazon position and then make a dude nut, and then she'll deep throat as soon as like the dude to shoot off like one rope, and then throat the rest of it, and them shits go off, and they get a lot of shares. And I'm sure she getting that money right now. But the throat pie content that's doing it. The oral cream pie, I think that the money shot is outdated.
Mm.
I think the money shot is outdated. I do.
So what's more to date?
I think more up to date is the oral cream pies and the throat pies.
Okay, that's good to know. Cause I'll just do those from now on.
Yeah, I think that's more up to date right now. Because me as a man, I'm just being honest. For me personally, if I'm watching a video and no matter how hard the woman's going, if the dude got to jack off at the end of the video, I'm turning that shit off.
Mm,
Like the woman need to finish the job. Now it's one thing; it can be a dope video if the woman gives herself a facial, but the man giving the woman a facial, it's kind of weird. It's like only one of us needs to be beating our dick right now, and that's me. You get what I'm saying?
I understand. I get you.
It's that CIM content, the coming mouth and the oral cream pies. That goes off. Uh, it's some other stuff because really, I'm like even with music, I'm all about the niche content. You know what I mean? But the niche content typically has a large amount of people who are willing to invest more
Mm,
versus the more traditional content where individuals are just going to watch it and then just going to keep it pushing. But scenarios they play a part too. Like you could do some stepmom, you could do some let's say you do some scenes where you're
mm,
pretending to be a landlord and the woman got to suck some dick to pay, to pay her rent. People will fuck with that, you know what I mean? Let's say it's some secretary shit. You know what I mean? I think tapping into the scenarios and the psychology of the scenarios and the scene setting is really where a lot of that bag gonna come from.
Hey, yo, listen, he said, explain what's throat pod game.
So
Explain that.
So throat pie is when you're busting a nut in a woman's throat, but it's past the throat barrier, not just in her mouth, but in her neck. You get what I'm saying? It
Mm,
that's the throat pie game.
See, I didn't know that. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, see, we learning things on my show, man. That's why I'm trying to bring you guys different type of people that they can teach us. You
Yeah,
know?
because as a dom, I do throat training. You get what I'm saying? So
Uh-huh.
that's program is to do throat training. So it's something that I'm personally into, and it's something where you don't have to take it as brutal as like ghetto gaggers. Ghetto gaggers, they be a little extreme sometimes, but some aspects of it really does correlate to real life. Because I don't even watch ghetto gaggers, right? But my real life has been, throat training women and then getting to the point where they can do throat pies. And sometimes maybe the first or the second time they'll throw up when it happens. But it's not really a matter of, oh, this is over with, or I'm just so turned on because she threw up. It's just like, okay, cool. It comes with the territory.
Mm. Yeah, you're right though. You're right about that. I mean, but you gotta understand something too, man. Just I don't know. Just I feel like everybody has their own little interpretation what sex is and what they like, and I just stick to what I do. You know what the crazy thing is about me with porn, right? Like I was never one of those people that was growing up just wanting to be a porn star, or that was like something that was in my mind. Like I literally met Makana Man on 125th Street. He told me to go to talent test to get tested and hit up some producers, and I did that. And I ended up getting within within 60 days, I ended up getting a hit back from a producer named D Wise, and I started shooting with him. That's how I got on. And I was just shooting for shits and giggles, like it wasn't even like I wasn't even thinking I was gonna make a lot of money off it. But now I'm able, I pay rent off that shit now. So I mean, am I balling out of control? No, but shit, I'm doing better than most. You know?
No, that's real, but that's because you had a strategy when you came into the game. You know what I mean?
Nah, no, I didn't. That's the thing. I didn't have no
I
strategy.
mean, you got a strategy now. Maybe not
Yeah,
when you.
now it's because I understand what aspects that I need to focus on to make money. You know?
That's real because you looking at a shit like a business.
hmm I'm trying to make money off this shit. See, that's the difference between me and these other male talent. A lot of these male talents are in this shit just to get pussy, and I feel like that's the wrong mindset to have when you're in porn. I feel like you should be focused on making money and making like moves like me. Like I'm not trying to say I'm the best person, but I feel like I'm more focused on just okay, I need to make money off this shit. How am I going to make money off this shit? Okay, I need to do this. That's what I'm going to do. You know what I mean? I need to shoot with this content. Like me personally, like when I see a chick, I'm not all focused on, oh, do I want to have sex with her? I'm more focused on, okay, if I shoot this, can I sell it? Because if I can't sell it, then I don't want to shoot it because it'll be a waste of my time and money. That's just how I think.
I think that's a real way of looking at it, man. Because you got to look at it from the demographics, and to me, just as a man, I do look at situations, and from my perspective, I be on some shit where I'm looking at it like, okay, cool. Uh, how do you get the most loyal fan base, right? That's because I'm an artist, right? I'm not in that industry. I'm just a dom, right? But at the same time, I'm an artist, so I'm still a content creator. I got a YouTube channel. I make content, and I look at it from a perspective of what can get you the most loyal subscribers that will be willing to spend money, and a lot of it is touching on niche topics. And what is a niche topic when it comes to the sex industry? It's fetishes.
Mm.
So it's like there are people who go online looking for something specific and they can't find what they're looking at consistently. If they find somebody who has more than two or three videos fleshing out a particular concept or fantasy that they have that they can't find elsewhere, they're going to spend their money to find it.
Mm.
They're going to spend their money on their OnlyFans. They're going to spend their money on their content to keep getting access to the same type of content that they like. Like me, as a man with a foot fetish, foot blow jobs or blow foot jobs, whatever you want to call it, when a woman suck dick with her feet, that is something I really like. It's
I
hard.
got a scene like that with Gia Lovely.
You got that, man. Send that shit to me, man. Hey,
Mm.
but when you got that
It's
type
on
of
my X videos, man. You gotta check it, man. Bro, I got a lot of scenes like that. I'm about to start doing more of those now.
Yeah, because it's hard for people to find that. When you able to tap into a lane of content that most people can't or won't or don't know to do, and there's people who have a fetish or a kink who are really into that particular fantasy, then you're really carving out a lane for yourself that makes it difficult for other people to compete with you. And now you got people who are willing to spend money if,
Mm.
if they could find it anywhere, then it's going to be difficult for them to want to do it. And that's why I say that the throat pie game is so powerful because most women ain't really doing throat pie scenes because most women ain't really activated to where they able to really do the throat pie scenes in the first place. You know what I mean? Most of them can't do it in the first place. So having that type of content that gives you a leg up over the competition.
Mm. Mm. See, that's something to think about.
So you got to think like, what type of fetish content are you willing to get into to
Yeah.
carve out a niche?
All right. You said, how do you feel about sharing content with the female that you just did a scene with? If it's a concentrate scene, that's what you're supposed to do. You know what I mean? But the thing with me is that I'm more focused on now I'm be doing half and halves where I pay for one scene that I own and then I'll shoot a content scene that we can share. So just make sure you get your model releases and your IDs and you'll be all right.
And can you can you do this real quick for me? I'm not necessarily looking to get into it, but I'm interested. What are some of the bases you have to cover to make sure that your bases are covered like legally and business wise when it comes to creating content?
First and foremost, you need to get a model release form made. And like when you're shooting a scene, first and foremost, you need to make sure the person that you're shooting with has a valid photo ID or passport. That'll work too, but it has to be valid. And you make sure you take a picture of the ID, take a picture of the front and the back alone, and then you take a picture of the girl holding the ID next to her face. But then take, you know what I'm saying?
All right, that makes sense. It's
So
basis. Got to cover your bases.
So yeah, and then if you also can take a video, because some people want videos now of the girl saying who she is, what dated y'all shot, that you know, what I mean, it was a cool scene, blah blah blah. Because that's really covering your ass. And now you got a written. You got the IDs and the photos, and you also got a video of her saying that. So if anything happens in court, you can pull all that up to court, and you'll be fine.
All right, cool. That's good because you got to cover your bases because we do have to understand and recognize, like as men, and I know this as a dom, that we live in a day and age where it's heavy victim mentality in Me Too culture, and a woman can agree to do something and not tell you that she feels pressured. You
Mm,
know, and I'm sure that's something that definitely happens with porn, where a woman is like, she'll agree to it at the moment, she's excited about it. Then when it's time to do the scene, she may be, second guessing herself and not really she's really kind of disagreeing with the idea of doing it at all, but then she goes ahead and does it anyways, and now she feels like, she feels some type of way about it. And it's one of those things where to be in that industry, you kind of got to accept what you're doing, but at the same time, you can't expect that everyone's going to have that same level of self-acceptance.
mm.
So you got to cover your bases. You got to cover your bases.
Hey, you're right about that, though. You're definitely right about that, man. You have to cover yourself because if you don't cover yourself and something happens, then you'll feel like an asshole. Trust me. I've seen dudes in situations that could have easily avoided. So, yeah, man. But anything else you want to cover, man? We've been rocking for a little over an hour. It seems like.
Let's see. I do want to let dudes know that certain things that they see within porn that women tell them is not real, that's not always the case, right? It's
Hey, explain.
like women do have orgasms from penetration. Don't let women lie to you and say that women are only just faking it in porn. Some women are faking it in porn, some are really having orgasms, right? And in real life, it's probably going to be a higher percentage of women who are really having orgasms than who are not, depending on what you lead with, right? If
Mm,
you're if you're leading with a relationship, or a woman feels like you're a judgmental or insecure dude, she might fake it. But if you're not leading with anything but sex, then it's kind of like she has to get her her pleasure out of what she's giving out of it. And like, I'll say this, there is a role that being able to give a woman orgasm from penetration plays in your ability to have a sustainable sexual relationship. And don't let women gaslight you out of it by trying to push feminist ideals and perspectives of sexuality on you, right? Because you might find yourself in a situation with a woman who just ain't having them with you.
mm.
Let's say you agree to a polyamorous relationship with a woman who just never had an orgasm with you. Now let's say you have a threesome with this woman with another man, and this man gives her one in like 2 3 minutes. Your ego may not be able to handle that.
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah, that's a fact. Major fact.
And I think men need to understand that. I think sometimes men look at it from a perspective, oh yeah, I'm just getting more pussy. I'm just getting more pussy. Nah, bro, your performance is still important. And if you put yourself in a situation where you're not actually sexually compatible with a woman, that's probably even less of a reason to be polyamorous. Because if you try to take a poly lifestyle just because you want variety, make sure that you're skilled enough to handle that woman's sex drive on your own before you add other women if you want a primary partnership. And this
Mm-hmm.
a little bit of a different lane of what we're talking about right here. But just as a man, this is what I say. I'm not trying to deal with more women consistently than whose sex drive I can handle on my own.
Mm. Yeah, you got a point. You got a real serious point, man.
Because listen, I've heard some horror stories of a dude who try to be so non-judgmental, to try to be so open-minded that he's sitting there with a woman who he can only give an orgasm from clitoral stimulation, like through a toy or through head, and they have a threesome, and this bitch is squirting and coming all over the place. Your ego may not be able to handle that, especially like
Yeah, that's why I'm not really into that swinger lifestyle or sharing my girl and shit. Like me personally, I want to get a girl that's outside the industry that understands I'm in the industry because I make money in it, but she's cool with me fucking other girls on camera to make money. But she doesn't fuck nobody else. She fucks me and we get girls together. If that
And
makes sense. That's what I'm looking for, honestly.
that makes sense. That's called being like monopoly, right? Or what some people in the non ethical non-monogamy community call one penis policy, and they hate that shit. Don't listen to them people. They'll get you fucked up, right? And I'll say this right here, right? It's like in order to do that, you have to have the capacity to meet that woman's sexual needs on your own, and the
Mm-hmm.
things that you do outside of that don't take away from the needs that you meet.
Mm.
If dealing with other women takes food out of your woman's mouth, sexually, financially, emotionally, socially, whatever it does, if it takes food out of her mouth, then she gonna feel resentment towards you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You can't have no woman who just fucking with you while you fucking with other people, right? And you not meeting her needs. That's not gonna work.
Yeah, you're right about that.
That's just not gonna work at all.
See, but another thing too that I'm realizing that doesn't work is when you're dealing with a woman that like it's like I don't really want to be in a poly relationship. I don't want
Me
multiple
either.
women. You know what I'm saying? I want my girl, that's my girl. But if we want it, but every once in a while we might fuck another bitch. That's about it.
I call that being monogamish.
Mm,
Yeah, that's what I call that right there. It's like you're not monogamous, but you monogamish. You know what I mean? Work is work, right? Work is work. But that's different than what you do outside of that. Like, and I'll say this right here too. In every relationship, there's something that's sacred, right?
mm-hmm.
Like, there's some women who might be, in that industry, right? And they're in
Mm-hmm.
that industry, but they still have something that's sacred to their relationship. They may not do anal unless it's with their man, right?
Yeah.
They may not swallow unless it's with their man, right? They may not be into a BDSM scene unless it's with their man. They may fuck with other people, but there's something that's sacred. And for some women, what's sacred is it can be as simple as you only play video games with your man. You fuck whoever you fuck. But with your man, you do not get on that game with anybody but your man.
Mm,
Even if you are non-monogamous in some variation, you still have to have something that is sacred to your relationship that you don't do with anybody else.
mm-hmm.
And if you don't understand that, you're gonna cross all kind of boundaries and get your situation fucked up.
Yep. I agree with that.
Like, so for some women, they'll do scenes in the industry, but they don't kiss those guys. They don't talk to those guys after the scene. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
Because they understand that there are boundaries of a certain level of intimacy they don't share with anybody but the man who's in their life.
That's a fact.
And as a man, you should hold yourself to that same standard, right? Not the same exact standard. I'm more about equity than equality, right? So you might be, because I've been in monopoly relationships, not by force, but just that's how it worked out, right? Where I would
Mm-hmm.
fuck with other women as a polydom, but I would have women who are monogamous to me because I'm ambiamorous. I'm not polyamorous, I'm ambiamorous, right?
What
So
does that mean?
ambiamorous means that you can be monogamous or non-monogamous and don't make too much of a difference.
Mm.
So for me personally, it might be a situation where, okay, cool, I might fuck these other women, but I'm not taking them on dates,
Yeah.
right? I'm not taking them on dates. I'm not trying to do all this extra shit to try to make them feel like I'm emotionally or financially invested in them or socially invested in them,
Mm-hmm.
because that aspect of the relationship is something that is exclusive to my primary partner. You still got to hold yourself to a standard about what it is that you do with your primary partner that you don't do with anybody else. And if not, then that's not really your primary partner. You're trying to have your cake and eat it too.
Mm. Yeah, you got a major point there.
And I'm going to say this right here too. A woman may be monogamy oriented. Just because somebody's monogamy oriented doesn't mean they only fuck one person. If you try to have your cake and eat it too with a monogamy oriented woman, you could fuck 1,000 women and never feel any different about your woman. She can fuck one man and she don't feel the same about you ever again.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And that's why you got to have certain things that are sacred within your relationship. If what's sacred, like, because I've been in situations where I was emotionally monogamous to a woman and she was sexually monogamous to me.
Mm.
You get what I'm saying? If
Yeah,
I
man.
if I were to break the rules about being emotionally monogamous to that woman, then she would feel every right to not be sexually monogamous to me. And not because she's not monogamy oriented, but because she feels betrayed, because she feels resentment. If that new dick hits better, and don't fool yourself, new dick is gonna hit different because it's new. It ain't even gotta be better.
Exactly.
A woman can get some new dick and forget all about you if she's not built for that lifestyle. So if you have things that are sacred to your relationship, you got to keep those things sacred.
Nah, I agree. Definitely agree with that, man. Hold on, wait a minute. We got another question. Say before you go, do you think porn has become too mainstream? I feel like anybody think they can do it now. That's what I don't like about it. Honestly, I feel like anybody on the street just think they can do porn, and when you realize that you can't, maybe it might be too late.
Yeah,
How do you feel?
and I think it also depends on what type of job you want to have going into the future. What's your exit strategy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you want to have an exit strategy of going into corporate America, you don't need to be doing porn under your real name.
Mm.
You don't need to be advertising it on your primary social media platforms,
Mm-hmm.
and you probably need to stick to niche content. And it's one of those things where sometimes somebody will get caught up in the idea of quick, fast money, make some decisions impulsively, and then fuck up their whole ability to have an exit strategy. You
Mm.
have to have an exit strategy because for most people, porn is not going to be something that you can provide for yourself over the course of your entire life.
Yeah, that's something right there.
You know, you might be able to do it for a couple of years, you know what I mean, make some money, but are you going to use that money and then use the money that you get doing porn to help you start another business that you already got a plan on? Or are you just going to spend up all that money and then find yourself in a position where you go from having a penthouse to sleeping on somebody's couch in a couple of years?
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, but another thing too is that, like I said, porn is like a roller coaster. Sometimes you got good months, and sometimes you have bad months. But like a lot of people also have other ways, other things outside of porn making them money. So that's what the main thing you need to focus on.
But I
So,
would say this. This is something I would say. One thing I really appreciate about modern porn is that modern porn is becoming more interactive. Like if you go on Pornhub, right, then it's certain personalities that you're interacting with and not just the porn itself. If I were in the industry right now, what I would do is I would write actual scripts, right? I would write actual scripts, make sure that the acting is done relatively well, and maybe get on Pornhub and make series or shows, you know what I mean, mini series that aren't only sexual but have real unsimulated porn scenes within the content. And I think that that is something that would do well. I'm not in the industry, so that's not what I do. But if I were in the industry, I would definitely do that
well, if
because
you
these
got
people.
any ideas, man, send them my way, man, because I can fuck around and use them.
All right, no doubt, no doubt. Because you do things like that, then people get attached to not only your sexuality, but they get attached to your ability to write. And
Mm,
in this culture where we're trying to learn to be less sex negative and learn to be more sex positive, you may be able to parlay that into making content that's a little bit less explicit, dropping it on YouTube, and then blowing up off of that. So I would say, you know, use the fact if you're in the industry right now and let's say your goal is really to be a writer, but you just don't have a lot of hangups about sexuality, so you'll do it, man, take that shit, use your writing skills that you use to set these scenes and really create some content to where it's like sometimes we'll watch shows and a lot of times the shows that people like to watch the most are the ones that are as close to real sex scenes as possible, right? But you can, if you can write, and have real sex scenes in a show, people will fuck with it.
Mm,
I'll fuck with it. Send it to me, and I guarantee I'll watch it, and I'll send it to people. You get what I'm saying?
mm,
So scene setting is important. As a dom who's in the BDSM, I love scene setting, right? Setting up a fantasy, setting up a scenario to establish this session, right? And that's pretty similar to porn. And sometimes I record it. Like I'm sure Dante, you've probably seen some of my recordings that I might have dropped in the back chat before. You know what I mean? But
mm,
it's one of those things where I'm not super shy, but it's just I know there's other things that I want to do that would have me in the public eye that I don't want to sabotage that. So it's just like, man, if I was into the industry right now, I would definitely be looking to make mini series and web series that have real sex taking place. And then also I see people right now making music videos where real sex is taking place during the music video. You know, I'm seeing all type of stuff that I think is pretty dope and artistic.
mm-hmm. Nah, I agree with you. Like I said, I'm trying to lean more that way, but I'm trying to be more creative with it. So I also want to be like designing the outfits the girls wear and all types of shit, bro.
I'm gonna say one more thing. I'm gonna say one more thing about this particular topic right here on just what we're talking about just now, bro. Tap into that cosplay game, bro. Tap into it. If you know some anime characters, you know some girls in the anime. Have some girls suck your dick with some anime. I listen. I got an idea for you right here. I do this and I plan to do this in my own free time, but I don't plan to post it online. It's infinite Tsukiyomi, right? That's a concept from Naruto, right? You can
Mm-hmm.
have a bitch who put on some Mangekyo Sharingan, uh what's it called, contacts, and have her put on some Naruto character cosplay, and you give you some head on the video and cosplay blowjob, right? That shit'll blow up.
Mm,
So tap into the blurred culture because a lot of blurs watch porn. And it's like tap into different demographics. Know exactly what demographics you're trying to attack, and feed into that demographic in ways that they'll like, man. And I guarantee that shit's gonna get some views.
okay. All right. He said, Tay, do you like girls that are natural or the girls that have fake breasts and fake butts? Which ones is better? Me personally, I like the natural girls, man, because I mean the fake tits and fake asses and shit can be a little stiff and hard. That could be very painful when you get, you know what I mean. But the ones that got the squishy ass and the nice titties, hey, I love them all day, especially if they slim thick.
I don't know a single man that prefers women who aren't natural. Like I know men who will tolerate it or who will go for it because it looks nice, but I don't know any man who genuinely sits there and says, I prefer a woman who has a fake body. I don't think I've met a single one.
Mm, I don't think I met one either.
Because typically, if a man would go for that, it's typically because the woman has like a really pretty face, or she has other qualities. She's really freaky, and she just needs some more ass on her for her to be more attractive. And he's like, all right, cool. Well, I'll pay for the ass, or I'll pay for the titties because I like titties. But it's not because he prefers that. It's because he likes the woman herself for the energy she brings, and that may add to it. But if a woman was just as attractive in the face, had the same energy, and had a natural body, he'd prefer her. He'd pick her.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't always get what you want. You know what I mean? In life,
Mm-hmm.
to pick your struggles.
Yeah, man. See, my thing is too is that. Wait a minute. Thank you for. Yeah, he said, thank you for answering my question, man. No doubt, man. Listen, man. I got some people that really be tuning in, man. This dude, Calvin, really tunes into my shit, man. He's always commenting. So I appreciate that, man. Like, I appreciate everybody that gives me a little bit of, a little bit of motivation to keep going, man. Because sometimes I be feeling like nobody's listening to me, man. But then the people that actually watch my videos and comment, they always comment like, "Oh wow, you make good videos. You have great content. You're talking from a good perspective." So
Hey, as content creators, man, that's what we do it for, man. We ain't really doing it for like just the fly by night views. We do it for the people who really try to take something out of the content. We do it for people who like want to like subscribe, for the people who want to comment, for the people who hit that bell notification, people who like, because some of my favorite subscribers, I've had subscribers to where I don't have enough subscribers to monetize my YouTube yet to get AdSense or anything like that. Plus my content is pretty raunchy anyways, right? But I have subscribers who, if they really like a video that I made, they'll just go ahead and cash at me or PayPal me because they really took something out of what I share with them. And those are the people that I really appreciate. You know what I mean? And and Calvin, you dope. Coming here asking questions and trying to learn with us and join in on it. I appreciate that. I think it would have been even dope if we could have had you come on the call with us and talk some shit with us, because it seemed like you got some good questions. And I man, I just think it's dope, man, that some people, they really want to learn, because there's a difference between porn and real life. And I think that most of the time when this conversation is had, people talk about how porn is fake. But I think that the aspects of porn that can be fake at times isn't because it's always fake in real life. And I wanted to share a Dom perspective that a lot of my real life scenarios sexually can look like what people assume porn is. I've My sex life has been a porn looking sex life. Get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And because my real sex life has been a porn looking sex life in a lot of the scenarios and a lot of the scenes that have been set, it's like I can't look at porn and be like, oh, this is fake, because I'm like, no, I've really experienced this. And I think that a lot of women who choose to deal with men who they aren't that sexually attracted to, they like to play on the narrative that porn is fake so that men lower their expectations.
Mm.
And we could probably build on that for a little while, you know, and maybe we can cut this off around 2 hours. I like to do 2 hour lives because it gives people time to come in and also gives people time. But I if you have any experiences with that, man, let me know. But that's one thing I've noticed. I see that there are a lot of women who use the narrative that porn is fake to try to throw men off the scent of how they really get down sexually. And that's
Mm-hmm.
what I don't appreciate.
Yeah. No, but that's a fact though, man. Like I feel like the most like a lot of the scenarios from porn come from real life. So that's how I feel like, you know what I mean? They use porn as a way to make a visual presentation of, you know, things that really goes on, you know?
And I get why they would feel that way about porn being fake, like because porn is not 100% fake, but at the same time, it's a job. So you're not going to take the same mentality to it. You got to perform, and you got to perform on an even higher level as a man, because it's like you have to be aroused in a scenario that's not arousing, which means you have to have supreme level of dick control to be a porn star as a man. But like as a man, I'll say this: like when you're in real life, you don't even have to give a woman that many hard strokes or fast strokes to give her an orgasm. You can give her some slow strokes. Really, a lot of times a woman likes if you have just enough dick to go balls deep, but still hit the bottom of the pussy. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly. They love that.
Because they want you to be able to be body to body with them.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Exactly.
And Mr. Brown, he just made a point. Can he put that up on the screen?
All right, which one?
The last one he just posted. Yeah, he said you could definitely learn from porn. Like sometimes I'll go to porn and I'll learn things that I want to implement into my program, into certain scenes that I set, right? And it's things that I learn, right? Like I love throat training. I love putting teasing and edging and pleasure now. And I'll say this is oftentimes how porn is set up is more so for the man's enjoyment most of the time. So it's one of those things where you won't always see the dominant aspect of a man using teasing, edging, and pleasure to now an orgasm control in order to really bring a woman to that peak. So that's one thing that you might miss from porn. But there's a lot of scenarios like a woman being tied up, a woman being smacked, a woman being choked that women fucking love. And when women tell you that they don't like that, oftentimes it's because they don't like you,
Mm-hmm. That's
right?
a fact.
If a woman tell you she don't like to be dominated, it's because she don't like you.
Exactly, because all women want to be dominated.
If like, and that's something I stand on. If a woman tell you she don't like to be dominated, she don't like your ass in that way. She might like the emotional validation that you're giving her, the money you spending on her. She might like the fact that you give her a lot of attention, but she's not really inclined to be submissive towards you. So she'll try to give you the misleading impression that she doesn't like to be dominated. Well, that's not true because when she cheats on you, I guarantee that nigga's gonna dominate her.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely, bro. Let me see. Tay, what do you think the legal age should be to start doing porn? Some performances said 21 to 25. I feel like that should be a good age, like 21 or 25, because you need to understand that when you start doing porn, you're doing something that everybody's gonna see for the rest of their lives. Like me, that's why I don't do certain shit. That's why all that remember you talk about the gay for pay shit. Man, listen, bro, I can't. Everything I did in porn, I can look back like, hey, look at me fucking the shit out of this girl. Look at me fucking the shit out of that girl. Like, I'm not gonna be like the other dude. Like, oh, I'm ashamed of what the fuck I did. You know what I'm saying?
That's real, man. And it's like, to me, I can respect different people's walks of life, right? It's like, I don't think being in the industry is for me, but as a Dom, I have enough of out of the norm sexual experiences to be able to have conversations about things. And I do study different aspects of porn. I've studied things, right? There's different types of strokes I've learned from watching amateur porn. You get what I'm saying? And it's like, we got to understand that there's different types of strokes. If all you know is beat it up, beat it up, beat it up strokes, man, you selling yourself short,
Yeah.
right? And I'm gonna say this right here: some men need to watch feminist porn.
Mm.
Hey, listen, on some real shit, because some of that feminist porn will show you some strokes of working the walls, right? Because when you're doing a scene, your focus isn't necessarily on the woman's pleasure as much as it is about getting a good scene, getting a good angle.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, like, you
The
may have,
fact that you ejaculate has no, you know what I mean? Nobody gives a fuck about none of that.
so like when you're at home, when you fucking a woman, you might work the walls, but porn may not always teach you how to work the walls, right?
Mm.
The different type of strokes. There's strokes where you go in, right, and then you might rotate your hips to hit the walls to hit certain spots, and most porn is going to be about the in and the out, in and out, so that you have a good shot of the penetration so that someone has the capacity to masturbate to it. But really, some of the best sex is going to be when you're barely pulling it out. You might go balls deep and only pull out an inch, 2 inches, you know what I mean? So that you can go back in and you're hitting repetitively on that woman's spot. That's what happens in real life. You're not always going to be doing a super long dick strokes on a woman. Not every time.
Mm-hmm.
And for some women, they're not aroused enough for that. If you try to long dick a woman every single time, she might dry the fuck out. You know what I mean? A woman might dry out if you're trying to hit her with, you're trying to take the dick all the way out every time you put it in. One, all that air is going to start queefing like crazy, and then she might dry up, and she may not be aroused enough to maintain being wet while you're sitting there trying to pull it out all the way. Sometimes, man, you got to put it all the way in and rabbit fuck a little bit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know that's a good way to preserve your nut too, so you don't nut fast. If you feel like you're about to nut, put it all the way in and then rabbit fuck. I do it all the time.
But and as much as you do it all the time, you probably don't do it as much as your scenes, do you?
Now I do it in the scenes if need be.
You do it in the scenes too.
Yep.
I didn't know niggas be doing that in these scenes. I thought niggas just be doing the long stroke all the time in these scenes.
Nah, I do that shit too if I need to. It depends on what you need to do. Shit.
But I think we also have to understand that based off of how aroused a woman is, it's going to be how much friction she can take. If you're doing a bunch of long dick strokes on a woman all the time, that's going to dry her pussy out if you have a lot of stamina. If it take you 30, 40 minutes before you get your nut off. You can't be doing long strokes the whole time. She gonna
Mm-hmm.
dry out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, one thing I want to say about a main difference between porn and real life is that in porn, the men are in the upper echelon of having the ability to maintain arousal. In real life, men need foreplay too.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a major fact. I need foreplay just to get aroused because I had so much sex. Like you just walking in here naked ain't gonna do it.
Exactly. I felt that shit. I didn't had too much sex to just be hard and turned on just because a woman naked. I'm like, okay, pussy. I done seen pussy before. I done seen titties. I done seen ass. I done seen toes. I done seen some pretty lips. All right, cool, bitch, you bad. But like, are you really gonna try to arouse me? Right? It's like porn often cuts out the aspect of foreplay. And I think that that can become a problem if someone tries to model their sex life completely after porn. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see that. You're right about that though. You're right about that. Cause it's like a lot of porn is like you said, it's I think it's realistic to a certain extent, but a lot of it isn't though.
I think porn is realistic about the middle part of sex. You get what I'm saying? I think the
Mhm.
middle part of sex, like when you're in the middle of it, in the heat of it, I think porn is realistic about that. But when we're like, another thing that we do need to discuss is pussy eating too.
Mm.
Most women don't like that shit. When your head is all the way off the pussy and you're just trying to stick out your tongue as long as you can and just
Mm-hmm.
hitting the clit with the tip of your tongue. No, put your whole mouth on the pussy,
Mm.
right? Like, you got to know how to eat pussy for real. And some women like that. I'm not gonna say some women don't like that, because I've come across some women who come harder when you do that because it feels like they're being teased. But
Mm.
for some women, they don't like that shit. If you're sitting there putting your head on their leg and sticking your tongue out as far as you can and just dealing a clit a little bit, you know what I mean? Most women, when you eating a pussy, they'd probably prefer more of a flat tongue suction movement when it comes to giving them oral sex. And this whole idea of just trying to get the shot and putting the side of your head on a woman's thigh and then sticking your tongue out as far as you can and just dealing a clit for some head, and then not even doing it with a consistent enough rhythm, pace, or stroke to give them an orgasm. It's like, if you try to copy the way that porn typically gives head, it's not gonna work.
Mm. I mean, but a lot of reasons why dudes give head the way they do is for angles. Everything's for the lighting and the angles, though,
Yeah,
bro.
everything for the angle.
Realize that.
You got to get the shot. You got to
Mm-hmm.
get the shot. That's your job, man. You can't fuck up your job, over a woman's pleasure, because her pleasure is not the reason you're there. You're there for that bag. But we got to draw a line in the sand that when you really eat pussy in real life, you want to create a certain suction, a certain vacuum by putting your whole mouth on the vulva, right? And,
Mm.
and being able to really work the clit. And you may not be able to see what movement you're making with your tongue. You may not
Mm.
be able to see what movement you're making with your mouth, putting your lips on the clit as well, like your inner lips, the softer part on the clit, in order to give her the orgasm. But in porn, you have to get the shot. And we have to recognize that the efforts that you have to go through to get the shot are not always going to be what gives a woman the greatest level of pleasure.
Mm. See, that's another thing I never thought about. But you're right. You're definitely right, man. Like I said, man, you're a very informative young man, I must say.
Man, because I'm a sex coach. I study a lot when it comes to sexuality, because that's something that's important to me. I have to make sure the woman that I'm having sex with is satisfied. And I'm never going to say there's things I don't learn from porn. Like, some of the things that you can learn from porn pretty well are, like, let's say if you like to get head a certain way, you like to get a foot job a certain way, you like to have sex a certain way, you can watch porn, send that to the woman that you're dealing with, and to have her practice on doing those particular techniques so that you're satisfied, because the dick is very external. So the things that a woman does on porn may be things that feel very good. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to a vagina is very internal. So the pleasure that you give to a woman may look a little bit different, but a lot of women, they try to give the impression that they don't like to be dominated the way that men dominate women in porn, and that's a lie. That's a bold face lie.
Yeah,
That
I
doesn't mean
agree.
that doesn't mean she ain't feeling you. A
Yeah,
woman,
pretty much.
yeah, a woman who really feeling you, she want to get dominated. She wants you to beat the pussy up.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're being too timid about it, and you're trying to have this slow making love with a woman, it's your first time having sex, and you're trying to make love and do all this other shit, she may not fuck with that, man.
Nope. I don't know. I know a lot of women that, but then at the same time, you gotta know what type of pace she like, cause she might not be all into that getting her pussy beat up either. That's not always good, bro.
Oh, yeah, that's not always good either. That's not always good either. But I'll say this: I will compare it to like the woman's level of sexual attraction to you. And as a man, we can set our standards about our woman's level of sexual attraction. The higher her level of sexual attraction, the more comfortable she's going to be with getting dominated. The less lower her sexual attraction, the more sex is going to have to be about comfort. And that's why I say that although a lot of women in porn, when they have a genuine, honest interview, they may say they don't want a dick that big to fuck with in their real life. A woman who's highly sexual outside of being transactional about it, she may like that shit. And don't let people trick you into thinking that, oh yeah, I got an average dick, and these women don't really like big dicks like that, so I'm good. You might be good. Don't worry too much about it. But at the same time, you might very well come across a woman who's used to getting stretched the fuck out.
Yeah, you're right, though.
Because a lot of women in porn are not real size queens.
Nah, that's a fact.
There are real size queens, but women in porn typically are not that.
Nah, you're right. A lot of these girls just like regular sized dudes, bro. They actually hate working with dudes with too much fucking dick.
And that's one thing I noticed in my real life, right? It's just like I've dealt with women who probably preferred closer to average. I didn't deal with women before, but I'm gonna say this: the women who felt like my dick was a little bit too big were women who weren't sexually attracted to me enough.
Yeah, you got a point. You damn sure got a point, bro.
Right? The women who are highly sexually attracted to me, they like the fact that they felt stretched. They like the fact that I was hitting the bottom of the pussy. Like cervical orgasms are a real thing. If we're overly listening to feminist narratives about sexuality, then you'll believe that the only thing a woman really likes is clitoral stimulation, and outside of that, nothing else works. Man, a woman can have a clitoral orgasm, but she can have an A spot, O spot, G spot, cervical orgasm, orgasm from giving head, not an orgasm from getting head, an orgasm from giving head. And a woman can also have an orgasm from clitoral from nipple stimulation. I've had multiple women who can have an orgasm from just having their nipples played with. So we have to understand that there's a difference between porn and real life, but that difference isn't always that porn is fake and that they're doing too much. Sometimes the difference is just that the women who fuck with you on a high level will like more of the porn shit than women who don't fuck with you that high.
Hmm. I agree with that, man. Like I said, man, it's porn has a lot of aspects to it, but man, I'm not even going front, man. Like I said, everybody's feeling the collab, man. They said, "What up with Taylor and Coach Brodie? What up, Ted? Ted is my name." And Mr. Brown said, "We got it's a good collaboration, long overdue, man. Yes, a fact, man.
Yeah, we've been playing this shit for a while. Hey, shout out to Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown, it's a dope ass Dom right there. You know what I mean? I don't think he's ever really gonna make some content, but I would love to make some content with Mr. Brown because he got some insight on his Dom game that, you know, for men who get into porn and they want their sex life to look like that, you don't have to go into the sex industry in order to get that type of treatment or to have those type of experiences. If you want women who are very sexually submissive, get into BDSM.
Mm,
Porn is transactional. That's not the lane to get into if you want that type of treatment, if you want that type of lifestyle and experiences. Get into BDSM. BDSM is where you're going to find it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I feel you though, cause that's how. I mean, like the thing with me, I want to learn more about being more of a dom, like in BDSM, cause it is money in that. Like it's a real wide open lane in that shit, and I'm trying to get some bread out of that shit. To be honest.
It's like that mat game, right? It's like, let's say you want to get into the dom game and you want to bring that to the sex industry. Man, you might do some heavy pleasure denial. You might do some edging videos, right? You might do some teasing videos, right? Where you have a woman where you're doing a lot of orbiting. You know what orbiting is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you might do a lot of orbiting on around a woman's spots, and you might spend like a 20-minute video, but you don't make her come until like the last part of it, or you might make her come multiple times during the video. You can record your dominant experiences. I do that myself, but it's one of those things where, man, there's all type of niche content. You could do shit that's almost like pretty much educational for helping them with a dom game by knowing certain shit to do when it comes to dealing with women who have their natural submissive inclination. And the fun part about it is this, right? The women who are really on that submissive type of level, you turn them out and they're not going to charge you nowhere near like those women who are doing it for money. You could
Yeah.
turn a woman out, and then after you turn her out, that woman might damn near be paying you for this experience, or
Mm-hmm.
doing it for free. Now you get an even greater level of money when it comes to returns, because the woman's there because she wants to be there. You can give her some money just because you want to stay on the up and up, but at the end of the day, these dom experiences, like, they look like what people think porn is supposed to be. Like, what people assume that porn is real life, they're really thinking about the dom game. They're really thinking about the dom experience. And when it comes to hardcore porn, that's why I only really fuck with amateur porn. I only really fuck with amateur porn. And hey, can you see me that foot blowjob video you was talking about?
I gotta find it, bro.
Because you said it's on your X videos. Hey, somebody had asked a question.
Who did? All right, hold on wait a minute. All right, Taylor, the question: what do you think about blow bangs, bukkake? Do you like it? How is it on set? I don't like blow bangs. I don't like bukkakes. I'm not. I don't like being in a room full of mad men and one girl. I'm being honest, bro. I'm just not into that shit, bro. Like I like me being the main thing and like me and multiple women or some shit, but me and multiple dudes and I gotta stand in line and somebody's jerking off next to me and in front of me and to the side. Like, nah, bro, I'm good on that shit, bro. You know
Like,
what I'm saying? That's not my thing.
I'll be watching them every once in a while. I'll watch one of those videos, and it's like all the dudes got to sit there and jack off and try to time it just right so the woman can suck their dick for 30 seconds and they get a nut off. That doesn't
Mm-hmm.
seem appealing to me.
Yeah, it's not appealing to me either. It's not my thing at all. It's not my cup of tea. You know what I'm saying?
And honestly, I like, and this is a personal thing. Like, if I have a wife, I don't plan on giving my wife male, female, male threesomes. You get what I'm saying? So
Uh,
I try to be consistent about not giving that to a woman who I don't care about. You get what I'm saying? That's just me personally because I'm not in the industry. So it's like, for me, if I'm not going to give a male, female, male threesome to a woman I care about, why would I do that for a woman I don't care about?
mm, mm. I'm just not into them shits because I don't like sharing my women. Like I did like male porn, like male female porn. Let me not say that. You know what I'm saying? Because I was getting paid for the scene. You know what I mean? But I'm not doing that in my real life. In my real life, I'm trying to have multiple women. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, yeah,
I was not one of those dudes that was running trains and shit. Like I said, I was vanilla as fuck before porn, so I wasn't running trains on girls. I wasn't doing none of that shit, bro.
I'm not into trains either, bro. I'm not into that shit. I've had offers. I've had offers to do porn. I've had offers to run trains. I'm like, nah, I'm good. I ain't into that shit, bro. If she needs more than me in the session, she needs too much. Unless it's a woman. If she want a woman, then that's just a little bit different. But I got a one dick per room policy. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
One hard dick per room. That's the policy. If it's anything more
Okay.
than that, then you've got too much going on.
No, I feel you. I definitely feel you, man. But like I said, man, I'm ready to wind this down, man. I'm a little hungry my damn self. About to go out here and see what I can find to eat right quick. Really enjoy it, man. Have you on my platform, man. We gotta do this more often, man. Like let everybody know where they can find you at, man.
Oh, let me put this on here and let's give it no more than 10 more minutes, man. But I want to put this on here. Coach
Hmm.
Brodie is my YouTube. Can you? I'm gonna drop this comment.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
and you can put that up there. So I'm gonna put that up there. Can you drop that and put it as the put it up on the screen so people can see what my YouTube is. So if they want to subscribe, they can subscribe.
All right, I got you right now, bro. There you go. Make sure you guys go follow Coach Brodie, man. Type in Coach Brodie, and that's his YouTube channel. Like, comment, subscribe on his videos. He dropping a lot of knowledge. A lot of knowledge, man. I liked a lot of his videos. I watched them. I listened to him actually when I was at work. You know, he's informative. I like that. So yeah, man. Anything else you want to talk about while you got these 10 minutes, man?
Let's see. I know there are some differences. I'll say this: there's certain scenarios that'll pop up, and I will say this: not every scenario is a scenario that you'll take, right?
Uh,
Because I'm still into. I still believe in the bro code. Real
uh,
shit. I'm not trying to fuck my homeboy mama.
yeah,
I'm
me
not.
neither.
I'm not trying to fuck my homeboy girl. I'm
Yeah,
not.
me neither.
And those are some porn scenarios that pop up as fantasies, but I'm not into that, right? Because I feel like don't sabotage good relationships you have with people over one to get a nut off. I feel like that's it shows a lack of character.
Uh,
I'm not into that shit. You get what I'm saying? So there's certain scenarios that can pop up in porn that people will see and they will fantasize about. But I say integrate and oh, this is something I do want to talk about. This is a benefit of porn, right? You can use porn to help integration, right? And what I mean by that is, let's say you're with a woman, you're in a long-term relationship, you can find yourself in a position, right, where when you're integrating, maybe a woman may gain some weight. Watch some BBW or some mature porn, right? And
uh,
what that'll do is that will help you see that you can have an attraction to a woman who isn't in the peak of her physical prime. And that will make it easier for you to integrate with a woman into a long term relationship. Uh, Another thing is this: you can look at certain scenarios you find important to set up for scene setting when it comes to BDSM. And another thing is this: is that when it comes to sexual scenarios, uh, you can learn certain techniques that you want a woman to use on you that you saw with the porn that look like they feel good. You
uh,
could teach that to a woman. I was 17 years old, right? And I was 17 years old when I met the only woman that I've loved. I've only loved one woman, right? In a
uh,
romantic way. And I taught her how to give me head the way I liked it, right? And
uh,
I'll tell you, watching different porn stars, like let's say it's some of my favorite dick sucking porn stars would be like let's see, what are some examples? Sky Black.
uh,
I love Sky Black. She sucked dick like a motherfucker. Uh I like Tiana Trump, but she don't really in her videos the way I like it. You know what I mean? Uh,
Mhm.
I remember watching the April Pratt video when I was still in high school. Yeah, I saw the April Pratt video when I was still in high school. There's some real stuff. Sometimes you might see some ghetto gaggers. You see certain things that are possible, right? When you watch porn, you see what's possible. And you can take that and integrate that into your program. And whatever it is that you like, if you're taking a dominant stance, your dominant stance gets watered down when a woman is able to do things that you don't know how to teach, right? If you can't teach what it is that you like, then a woman can do something sexually that you like that you don't know how to teach. And then you may have an attachment to that woman that isn't really correlated to how she actually treats you. So know how to teach what it is that you like. If you like head a certain way, learn what it is that you actually like and know how to teach it. I've
Mm.
I've
Yeah, that's some good advice.
yeah, I've trained women to give me head the way I like it. I've dealt with several women who didn't give me head the way I liked it the first time that they tried it, but I taught them and I trained them to give me head the way I liked it, which maintained me staying in the dominant stance. But if someone can give you pleasure that you don't know how to teach, then you might have an attachment to that person that extends beyond their ability to treat you the way that you would like to be treated. So protect your submissive sexual ego, right? For me personally, I compartmentalize my submissive sexual ego into getting head at times. There's a difference between dominant head and submissive head, right? And we only got like 5 minutes left. But the difference between dominant head and submissive head is when a woman is giving you submissive head, oftentimes it's going to go into the realm of her deep throating because she has to be receptive enough from a submissive stance to receive dick into her neck, right? You get what I'm saying? But
Mhm.
woman may just be giving you the two-hand twist with the Slurpee Gok 5000, right? And she may never get into the submissive stance. She's doing it from a logical perspective of what she believes will give you pleasure because she wants to give you pleasure because she enjoys the pleasure of being in control. But that's not the same as submissive head, where you may have a capacity to fuck a woman into her throat until you give her a throat pot. And those are two different things. There's a difference between dominant and submissive head. I believe that when I'm fucking a woman, I'm gonna do that 99% of the time from a dominant sexual ego. But when I'm getting head, it's probably gonna be 50-50, 60-40, where sometimes I'm gonna be in my dominant ego and sometimes I'm gonna be in my submissive ego. If you know how to compartmentalize your submissive ego, you put yourself in a position where a woman can still receive validation from giving you pleasure, but although she receives validation from getting you pleasure, it's not something that rules over the entire relationship dynamic, right? So we have to understand that protecting your submissive sexual ego is important because the submissive sexual ego is what attaches to your emotions. It's what attaches to your ego. It's what attaches to you in a way to where you overlook certain things non-sexually that can cause you to prioritize a person who doesn't treat you well compared to a person who does treat you well. And as a man, you don't want to be in that position where you have a woman who's doing all these things non-sexually to show you that she values you. But this other woman is maybe she's been overstimulated. Maybe she's had so many sexual experiences that she's open to doing whatever. And but she's not shit as a person non-sexually. And if you allow your submissive sexual ego to be tapped into by women who ain't shit to you, then you're going to mistreat by proxy the women who are actually invested in you. Don't do that. A woman who prioritizes you, who cooks for you, who cleans for you, who spends money on you, who is cooperative with you, that is the real value of a woman. That is the real, like, if you plan to take a masculine dominant stance, that's the woman who you really need to invest your time into rewarding good behavior, right? And if you're in a position where a woman can do things sexually that puts you in a stance where you're willing to put your non-sexual standards to the side, that's not a positive thing, because that woman is going to fuck you up.
Yeah, I agree.
So being dominant is about being the primary giver of pleasure, not the only giver of pleasure, because you're still going to get pleasure out of it. But when you're the primary giver of pleasure, the primary receiver of control, you're the dominant stance. But once a woman is giving you more pleasure than she's receiving out of it, now you're in a submissive stance. And the submissive stance is what taps into your ego. Hey, it's Five Snug Ways. Hey, Five Snug Ways is dope as fuck. It, hey, Five Snug Ways is always commenting on certain people content that I really fuck with, like K Zaggin 20. That's my favorite content creator. He's also my other content. He's also my other admin in sociosexual dynamics. He's probably my favorite content creator when it comes to dating and relationships. And that's K Zaggin 20. Five Snug Ways. He comments on a lot of his lives, and he also comments on a lot of lives, like when it comes to Mr. Lucario, when it comes to Miles Cunningham, a Mr. Lucario fan. He also comments on different things from like manhood is a skill set and real game no theory. And real game no theory consists of Coach EO, Mr. 1950. What else? Coach EO, Mr. 1950, K Zaggin 20, Mr. Lucario, Miles Cunningham, and Steve the Dean Williams, right? And he's always commenting on those. So I got respect for Mr. Cunningham because he got good taste in content.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Wait a minute. Player Supreme. Okay. All right, man. We at the 2 hour mark, man. Anything you want to say to wrap it up, man?
Hey, I ain't got nothing else to add, but I do want to say shout out to everybody who commented. I fuck with y'all. Make sure y'all subscribe to my YouTube channel because I be dropping game on my own. And
Yeah, make sure you guys check out his channel, man. He has a lot of good informative videos, man. Like I said, I think I got like some good videos on my channel too. So you guys, binge watch my videos if I'm about to drop some new ones coming up. Um, Matter of fact, in the chat before I leave, how many videos you guys think I should make a week? Like I was thinking about maybe 3 to 4 a week. How's that sound to you guys? Please leave a comment right now.
that might be good. I'll say this right here, right now. Right now, the algorithms are really pandering towards the shorts. If you have shorts to post, posting those shorts will boost your channel up more than your long form videos. So I think that's one thing right there. If you have some shorter content to post, like you can go into these videos right here, and
3 to 4 sounds dope. Okay.
yeah, 3 or 4 does sound dope, but make sure that you're posting some shorts because those will boost your channel up more than probably your long form videos, unless it just really hits the algorithm that goes far. I had a video recently where I posted a video on why were the Giants after the flood, because I also like to talk about Enochian mythology, and I probably got like 30 some subscribers off of that post alone. And but that's long form video. But most of the time, a lot of my subscribers come from shorts and reels. So,
Yeah, I
shorts
seen
and
the
reels.
short that you did when you was teaching your son how to box.
Yeah, I be doing a lot of boxing videos too for my shorts. I mostly do shorts, boxing videos for short, and that gets me a lot of subscribers here and there. And I'm probably about 530 subscribers right now, maybe five. I'm at 531 right now. So that's all I gotta say. Yeah, I appreciate everybody who commented, and I got some new videos I'm gonna post soon. I plan to post a video on protecting your submissive sexual ego. That's an important one. I got some more videos coming out. I dropped some videos recently that I think were pretty good. And just, fuck with me. And I do coaching sessions. I do coaching sessions in
I
my
do
coaching.
consultants too. All you guys keep asking me how to get into porn. I will teach you for some money. Wait a minute, hold on, wait a minute. He got another question, bro. Ah, shit. Another question to you. How was y'all Thanksgiving? What did y'all do for Thanksgiving? I ain't do shit, bro. I was in the house. I ain't had nowhere to go because I just moved to a new city. I don't got that much family out here, so my Thanksgiving sucked.
My Thanksgiving was good. I was just working on content, and my main bitch was tripping a little bit. Because hey, listen, just because I got some game doesn't mean the shit's gonna be perfect for me 100% of the time. Sometimes you got to put bitches on ice a little bit, and that's just talking real. So my Thanksgiving, I stayed my ass at home, and my grandma cooked, so I made some food, and so I ate some food, some good dressing, some good turkey, some good macaroni and cheese, some good greens. That was cool, but I was mostly just chilling and working on content because purpose comes before everything else. And I'm gonna say this real quick before we leave out of here. If you have to be emotionally detached in order to maintain your masculine frame with the woman that you're dealing with, you are emotionally weak. And some people will disagree with that. All right, cool. You can disagree with that. But I'll say this, the greatest pleasure that you'll experience in life will, as a man, will come from being with a woman who you can be emotionally vulnerable with. I don't care what nobody says. That's the truth. And you have to establish yourself in consistency with your program and how you carry yourself to where a woman doesn't lose respect for you by you being able to express yourself and be vulnerable. And being upfront about your intentions is an aspect of being vulnerable. But my Thanksgiving was in just working on content. I'm off every Thursday and Friday for my job. I work full time. I don't have a big enough following for me to put my content as my number one priority, but I still prioritize it because I do this because I love it. See, you can call it the feminine submissive. If you're doing something without expecting a return on investment because you enjoy it, that's the feminine submissive. See, it's not a gendered thing, and it's not a bad thing. It's an abundance mindset. So that's one thing I do want to say.
All right. Yeah, man. I'm happy you came on, man. We're gonna do this again and again, man. I'm gonna find this clip before I get off the phone. I mean, get off this shit to send to you. 'Cause I think it's the scene I did with Gia Lovely. Hold up.
I'm gonna check it out, man. I am.
You gotta go on my X videos though.
You know what? I'm gonna keep it a bug with you, man. After Pornhub did the shit that they did, when it came to like when they started cracking down on making sure that everybody was verified, people started moving back to people started moving to Twitter and
Oh,
X.
there you go.
Yeah, after Pornhub did the shit that they did, when they started kicking off everybody who didn't have verified videos and verified content creators,
Mm-hmm.
people started moving to X videos and Pornhub. That's where people went to, and X and XX, but not so much X and XX, but X videos and porn and Twitter, and that's kind of how it worked. So I
Yeah.
see you sent me the video. I'm gonna check that out, and hey, yeah, I appreciate making some content with you, man. It's been a long time coming. It's been
Yeah,
a
we
long.
gonna keep going, man. It's like I said, just tap in, man. Just let me know when you're free. You want me to be on your channel, I will. I got no issues with it. And let's do this again, man.
All right, cool. And how much are you into the BDSMZ? Because I know we in that group together,
I'm
learning
not.
BDS.
I mean, I'm just like just now getting into it a little bit, trying to learn more about it. But I'm not gonna sit here act like I'm a sexpert like you, man.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And listen, hey, people, if you want me to break down your situation through the sexual polarity quadrant and my philosophy, or if you want some specific sex advice to help you with your relationship and the women that you're dealing with, just hit me up. My coaching sessions right now until the end of the year are still $25, and I'm still just doing it for 25. I do it because I love it. It's not because it's going to pay for my lifestyle, but I do need to get money for my time. And if that's something that you want to do, just hit me up. I'm on Facebook at Brodie Dharma. They deleted my primary Facebook page. I'm trying to see if I can get it back. But if that's something you want to do, just hit me up and we can set that up. And or you can just comment on on my YouTube channel, Coach Brodie. Just let me know what's going on. And you ain't gotta let me know what's going on. Just hit me up and we can set that up. But hey, I appreciate you, Dante. Hey, we've been planning to do this content for a while. I think we had a good build going on here, and we should do some more content sometime soon.
Yeah, it's gonna happen, bro. Trust me, we're gonna make it work, bro.
All right, no
All
doubt.
right. See you guys, man. Make sure you follow us. Peace.
All right, no doubt.
All right.